I'll be calling you a radical. So, got 3 appointments with doctors today. Whew, what a freaking journey this 12 years has been. 12 years and a couple days that I got sick. I was given 2 months to live in that room right there with a real the misdiagnosed went on for a long time. It was the pain. The tumors wrapped around my bowel. Oh, misdiagnosed. Finally, a bone marrow biopsy. Vincent Hansen found it, figured it out. You know, I saw the best doctors, I saw the worst. They biopsied the tumors, they put them in the wrong day. Oh, God, never had one wrong in my life, this arrogant pathologist told me. Whoa. Vincent said, once I got into the bone marrow transplant, he says, I wish they would have never biopsied that. That was a big mistake, you know, could have cost you. And it almost did. So, but they could tell so much from these blood works. But when it comes to leukemia, it's a bone marrow biopsy. They dig into your hip, going there. They did it right there, and it still was not positive. But before even it came back from the lab, Vincent Hansen, oh boy, he thought that's what it was, you know, which was other doctors had no clue. I mean, and he sent me in early. He says, "We can't wait. You just got to go, and go to the top of LDSE State like the Knights." Saturday. Whew. I got sick on October 13th. Just a stunning. It was radical. And as you know, this ugly, ugly path ended up being a radical form of leukemia. And they had to, I mean, it was complicated, but I see a friend of mine just passed away in my old room there. Young, healthy, incredible, beautiful. Only the good die young. So, I want to talk about, you know, I've had open heart surgery twice, including this year. My doctor let me have it the other day. She says, "You think you're going to Austria? You think you do all this, blah, blah, blah?" She says, "You realize what you've been..." I do know what I've been. 5 years I'm telling these doctors, this valve's not working. This heart doctor right here, my heart doctor, Plato, shooting down my arms, freaking, you know, I have classics. I came from a family of heart doctors. I mean, I went to pre-med. I mean, it's obvious what it is. No, neuropathy. I'm going to see one of my daughters that missed it at least 30 times today. I'm telling him, neuropathy, right? No. You know, I don't know how I'm alive because I had to override him. And, you know, I had to fight with him to even get a stress test. And they got the stress test. Oh, it's just a pacemaker. They were ready to, it was one of the butchers in the, ready to put the pacemaker. And I'm like, no, me and my daughter, I had 2 heart attacks. It was just like I said, it was that valve. It wasn't ever done right. And I could feel it until, I mean, so the cancer treatment, when I went in, I had a marker of 44. I had a dream just 12 years ago in September, August. I had this dream. And the irony of this story is that, now, this is important about information, misinformation. Now, who's the misinformation? These people that are saying Fukushima was a hoax, the Pacific Ocean's okay, and nuclear energy is clean. That's the misinformation. Nuclear energy is not clean. Next time somebody tells you one was, ask them about the centrifuge process, turning uranium-238 into 235, which that's what we use in a nuclear energy reactor. We don't use natural 238. Centrifuge coming from Russia now, Paducah, Kentucky, used to be in Illinois, Honeywell, fucking, used to be at Bruce. It still probably is at Bruce in Ontario. So it's not clean. What about all the waste? What about Fukushima? You think that's clean? You think, what about Chernobyl? What about Mayak? What about Santa Susana? I mean, it's not clean. It's the dirtiest, filthiest thing in the world. Standing on the state line, turn uranium-238 into 235. So back to the misinformation. It's over the top. Fukushima's a hoax. YouTube sites go to the moon. Telling the truth. These are, I mean, Kevin Blanch, if I'd have been freaking 12 years ago when I was saying these are full-blown meltdowns, they would have tagged me for misinformation. Now, who's the misinformation? Who? People that are out there grandstanding, all this mainstream media, these YouTube vloggers, because they're being promoted. I mean, you got an AdSense account, you start talking Fukushima, the reality goes, whoop, shut up, Annie on Balco, on chemo, fuck. You talk, say it's a hoax and make misinformation, just lie, call it a hydrogen blast. Say the Japanese are tidy people, they cleaned it up, call it a freaking solution pollution, they're no meltdown, blah, blah, blah. Your YouTube, it's a hoax. I mean, I can prove it. It's been proven that these people's YouTube sites went to the moon. I'm nothing more. It's serious. Like, all's YouTube is a library. That's all it is. It's a visual, that's all it is. It's a library. Now, there's certain aspects of it that are a research library. It's like when you walk in the library, the contemporary literature that was written forever, ever, those books haven't been opened probably ever. And if they were for 40 years, just sit on the shelf. That's what radio goo goo gaga. That's what 99% of YouTube will be. But then you dig down in the basement. You get into the research library, digital, and you start working. You stig and you dig. And you don't just take a headline. You read the whole piece. You listen to the whole piece. You're like, oh, that's what Kevin Blanch is. Probably the most important PhD since Semmelweis. Who's he? Throw me in the rubber room. So back to the fight. So I had this dream. And I don't play slot machines. And I was in Nevada, and I'm walking out of a casino, and I reach in my pocket, and I got a handful of change. That's all I got left. I mean, down to nothing. Nickels, dimes, pennies. I throw it into a slot machine. And I hit something, and it kicks out $12.12. You can't make this up. Numbers matter. 311. There's no Saturday. Where'd you sleep last night? I slept in the dead fucking plants. It sounds familiar. Oh, we will pretend. That's all we hear. Oh my God! It's just sound of freedom. Yeah. Okay. Freedom to. If this is freedom in freaking this country, oh my Lord! Up is down, black is white, wrong is right. So it came out 12-12. So I punched it, and I got a voucher. And I looked over, and there's this giant slot machine. Took the voucher, and I went, put it in, and look at fuck it all in. All in, it said. Something about you. There's something about you. And it started a ding, it's this giant, like, 4-story slot machine. And it started ding, 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 just going crazy. It came up 4 Devoto, 44, 2 4s. And then it came up these ugly ass icons. 4 of them in a row. They almost look like clams. 4 of them in a row. Now I know those are cancer tumors. I could feel a tickle in my stomach back and then going on. And I was telling people, the girl I was hanging around, I could feel this tickle in my stomach. I was not ready for the fall. Too blind to see the writing on the wall. I've learned the nuclear energy man can tell 1,000 lies. I learned my lesson well, as I live to tell. So, it kicks out 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, fucking 10 million, 100 million, freaking a billion, a Google, and then I woke up. It's the most utopic dream I ever had. Well, I studied Danish philosophy and medicine. Now, I got Danish bloodlines. My doctor is Danish. Both the 2 Hansons that saved my life, old Hanson, young Hanson, saved my life. He says, Kevin, I've known you since you were a little boy. I stuck at his house right there. He got all emotional. He says, there's bone marrow biopsy. So they wanted to gut me. They found all the tumors up here, and this Fakara says, I'm going to open you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to freeze this together, we're going to do it Thursday. And I thought about it. I said, no, you're not. You're not doing that to me. No. I says, I want to see Vincent, the oncologist. I haven't been able to see him yet. Why? I mean, they'd scope me, all kinds of misdiagnosis. So, you see him tomorrow. Thank God. So I got in there. Oh, thank God. I'm going to see his assistant PA, who's now my oncologist, who I went to high school with. She's a gem. She let me have it this year. She says, do you think you're better? Everything that your body's been through, that hard, that thing? No. You keep your walking. You keep your routine. You're not ready. You need more time. It was her just a couple months ago. So he says, go home, I'm going to call you. So his secretary calls me the next day. I'm at my daughter's house. My daughters have flown in from around the country. They know I'm in trouble. Phone rings, the secretary. She says, hey, this is Vincent Hansen's office. You know, he says it's going to take a couple days for the biopsy to get back, but he called me the next day. He didn't even wait. He says, you're to check into the bone marrow transplant center at LDS tomorrow morning. You're set up. Your caseworker's named Greta. You go in there. You be there by 10 o'clock. I watched my dad die of this disease. I watched Annika die of this disease. I knew what LDS East Weight was. I knew it was a bone marrow transplant center. I knew that I had leukemia as soon as he said that. I got thinking, it's only one of the only times I really broke down. I just started to shake, and I'm like, I'm going to die. It's leukemia to the bone marrow. I watched this movie too many times. Then I thought, tomorrow's 11, 11, 11. Now, I had this big thing, I still do with numbers. 11, 11, 11, 11. My two grandsons, my pair of 11s. I had a premonition on 11 when those two were born that year. Before they were born, I'm like, I'll probably die in 11. I was biting my fingernails that whole year. I had this premonition about 11. The girl that I was involved with and heavily, oh my God. And that was a Freudian relationship. Woo, woo, wow. Born on 11/11. You know, the whole 11 thing. Where'd you sleep last night? 3/11s. Fukushima, I mean, the premonition, 11, 11, 11. Where'd you... Boom. I'm like, I'm almost made it through. Boom. And then I go in on 11, 11, 11. You cannot make it up. What's today? 10, 10. I started the post-secondary project on 10, 10, 10. That's when I meant it. Like, I went in on 11, 11, 11. I got a really great story about 12, 12, 12 in Fukushima, Japan, about that's when they had the hearings and translating. That's when I knew they were lying and covering up in earnest. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Don't get hold of yourself. Call him back. It was just his secretary. So I call. I need to talk to Vincent. She says, well, he's with another patient. He'll call you right back. Probably the worst hour of my life. Oh, sorry. So, I hope I don't drive like that. And so, he finally calls me back, and you could hear the tremble in his voice. He don't get like that. Like I said, I've known him, you know. He later told me, he says, Kevin, my brother and my father both died of thyroid cancer. I grew up in southern Utah. I didn't know that. You know, he was my relative, the great, incredible Thomas Blanch. He was his business partner. I remember Vincent told me when I was stuck in his house when I was young up there, he says, you're related to Thomas, aren't you? Yeah. I'm related to all these Blanches. He says, you know, you remind me of him. I've heard you speak. I've heard you talk. You doing your work at the university, blah, blah, blah. You know, he was the most brilliant man I ever knew. He says, you so much, your mind, your brain, the way you go is so. He says, you have a nasty, nasty cancer, and it's cancer, and it's bad. But I believe in you. I talked to Thimble Peterson for now. He says, you're going. I said, yeah. He says, it's under construction. I says, it's been under construction since I was a kid. I'm not going to that shithole. No, there's a guy there. You don't know. His name's Thimble Peterson from Copenhagen, Denmark. He's the man. I talked him into taking you. I told him your story. I says, anybody can beat this. This is too radical and too crazy, you know. This is the guy. Because he wanted hard cases. And he took all the Marshall Jensen, Carla Hennessy. Carla and I both had the same thing at the same time. And I will never forget. I love her. She's the greatest. I think about her every day. I think about Marshall every day. I'd be friends with Kevin and Carla, they call us. You know, they both passed away. They didn't lose the fight, by the way. They did not lose. Oh, God. And I went, stood me up in there. They beamed the lasers off me. Remember the long-time male nurse that had me in the shower, naked, prepping me, getting everything ready for. You're big and strong and physical through the shoulders. Is your body, you're a beast for your age. Let me hear you. I've been here for a long time. You're going to need every bit of it. Oh, yeah. So they put a central line in my jugular, rounds around, it goes into your heart. They put a stent in my lumbar puncture. They go in there because the cell's like behind that. They put a little stent freaking injection thing on my brain stem. They like to hide there. They go to work. I says, I'm in so much pain, I'm just cramping because they didn't restrict my diet. I went down to the Huntsman and tried to talk to them. They're still suing me to this day for $1,200 for a phone call. They refused to see me, you know, as we call them, the luxury good of death. I didn't name them that. That's East State LDS that calls them that. And walks in, he says, well, Kevin, you could have went up there, had the good food, stayed in the nice hotel. Our rooms ain't so nice, but we charge luxury prices. I had about $1 million in the stock market. I threw my stock market report down to Vince and I says, I'm not broke, I have I was advised by uncle, you know, doctors, sell it now, fork it all over. Go in there and you fight. Vincent, choking up. I believe in you. I really think you can beat this. If anybody that can beat it, it's you. I really believe in you, Kevin. He was all choked up. You go in there and you fight. You beat the odds. Okay. And it's a guy I trust. He's earned my trust over the years. Trust is not given, it's earned. So I go in there. I never met Fimbo. I went in there, round a doctor. He overrode every doctor. They wanted to go back and point. He says, no. We're going to go with Vince's thing. The pathologist got it wrong. We're going to send it out to all these labs and try to backdoor it. They sent it out to so many labs, they couldn't get it. Finally come back, we got a hit from the University of Nebraska. I says, oh, they're a great cattle program. He says, Vincent just saved your life. Vincent was right. That's what it is. It's a radical form. It's called de novo. And my marker was 44, which is radical. Anything over 20 is radical. And I went in there and they chemoed the shit out of me 3 different times over a 9-month period. Central line. I mean, just hammered me. Then Brian comes in my room. They hammered him the same thing. He had de novo, and he come in and talked to me. One of my doctors in there was one of Steve Jobs' doctors. You know, multiple teams. They have rounds, and it's world class. Well, Fimbo's world class. You know, he set up there. He quit the U and went to work there and set up at East State, the old LDS, which is a gem, by the way. And Weber State nurses. There's PAs in there. I had a CNA named Melanie. She was older. She says, I never want to be a nurse. I want to stay at CNA and do the dirty act. She says, I want to be the foot washer forever. She was so great with me. She'd pep talk me. I had no pigment in my eyes, blisters on my tongue, sucking up, fading away to nothing. I mean, I'm so sick, eat, puke, live on booze, beyond horrible. I went from 170 to 119 pounds. I'm down to nothing. You know, and after the 3rd round of chemo, it wasn't working. My platelets were low, and so it was Fimbo, Julie Ash, and born the same day as me. They're like, because of Brian's case, we're going to maybe take a chance with you. We're going to stop the chemo right now. And this is important because radiation and chemo are 2 different things. So Fimbo's like, I don't go right there in that room. He's given 2 months to live 12 years ago. 12. It'll be in a couple of days. He's like, I don't like radiation treatment. But these guys are all saying you're going to have a little bit. So I have the 4 tattoos on me. I was Dr. Thompson, the radiologist, the famous one at LDS, 40-year. I was his last patient. Fimbo's only if he does it, and it's very light. So they did do very light, but he's not a fan of it. The chemo I use is not your father's chemo. It was a new cocktail. It's called RCM squared. It was new. From my understanding, it's got some mushroom derivative in it. I believe turkey too. But PET scans. I'm in here doing my PET scan. And here in the trailer, when they had it in the trailer, you know, and put yourself in your happy place. They don't even like the PET scans. We want as few of those as we can have, you know, because they're so full of radiation anyway, but you got to have it. So we had the 5 to 3 rounds. They did the PET scan. I'm back in there after 2 rounds. I take it back. I'm back in there, and she says, put yourself in your happy place. I'm in my happy place. I grew up here. It's so beautiful. This is a wetland. This is the old Glassman Pond. This is the 3. It was sacred in here. The trees in here, the Shadow Valley. This is where I hung out. This is where us kids hung out. You know, we did all the things we're not supposed to do, you know, when you're 16, 17, 18, you know. So beautiful. I'd never take any of it back. I'm in my happy place. So I'm back in there getting juiced the 3rd time. Here comes Fimbo himself. He would always say, he says, I'm not losing you. I'm like, oh, I'll be your statistic. Oh, no, you've got to beat this. You know, and he's a hard anti-nuclear socialist, but they can't talk Hippolyte. So he says, got your scan back today. He says, you need me to translate it for you? Here it is. And I says, no, I can read Latin. And he says, I figured. He said, how many languages do you speak? And I says, about 6, all poorly. But my worst is English. My Uncle Harkow taught me. So I'm like, whoa, pseudo me not. Pseudo de facto medicine. No, he's the man. Don't throw the baby out the bath. I use Hoax. So even the pathologists throw it in the land. I've never seen anything like this. It's almost like a miracle. The tumors are gone. All of them are gone. I says, I don't know what cocktail you used, but he tweaked it. It worked. But of course, it took out a lot of other stuff. It took out my gallbladder. I don't know any of you ever had gallbladder pain. It's wicked, right? Oh boy. So anyway, took out my teeth. So I remember a woman coming in my room. You're an AML leukemia survivor. I said, so what? She says, I've had, I don't know how many bone marrow biopsies I've got scars all over there from them. They lay you on your hip, dig in there, pull it out. And that pathologist there, she's about this tall, of Chinese descent, and she doesn't even let, no mistakes, she says. She stands right over the doctor. She does the smears herself and carries it to her own lab. Oh yeah, that's how intense she is. And then they have the mad scientist. You got the rooms in there where you're quarantined. It's like the bank. You put your stuff in there. Here, try this, Blanch. They're using everything known to man. You used to call it the miracle mouthwash. Here's my new cocktail I brewed up for you. Try this when you name it. It's in it. They got you hooked up to a computer. So if the nurse makes a mistake, but which they did, they gave me a Nupin shot on my shoulder one day. This one, because we're computerized. One mistake and it's over. So I couldn't have chemo anymore. I couldn't have a transplant. We decided on it. I was with Marshall the day he decided on his transplant. He's probably the most famous leukemia case, one of them in American history, maybe the one. You know, the first one to get the HIV injection in the world. On 27, I got to be really close friends with him. Close friends with Carter. Loved them both. Both passed away when I was at the San Onofre hearing fighting. Very heartbroken when I found out. So, baseball metaphor. My platelets aren't recovering. They're stuck at 38. I'm like, I'm going to California, walking the whole coast of California. A lot of doctors are like, well, you'll die out there. Yeah, what a place to die. So I did. I walked the whole coast of California, you know, with a sleeping bag, dying. No money, no support, no nothing. What a spiritual experience. So, all the San Onofre hearings, the kicking down, my cancer, my central line hanging out of my jugular vein, doing my improv, flipping my can, keeping the mind big. Danish philosophy medicine. If you listen to the subconscious, you really listen to it hard, it will guide you. It will tell you if you're going to die or if you're not. And I'm like, I never felt like I was going to die, and I never did. Poor, pitiful me. When the odds were so against me, Kevin Pearson comes in my room. It's Kevin. I can buy you 2-3 years of life. Almost guarantee it. Or we can use my plan, which is a little, well, it's risky. It's more of a long shot, but I think you're the perfect candidate for it. And you might live to be no more. Oh, and I told him. We know now in the 1% study, the number one survivors, so-called 1%ers that beat these incredible odds, gamblers, risk takers, risk takers. No shit, we're the only ones that's crazy enough to think we can beat it. And numbers, good with numbers. So, as you know, the heart one again, here's the valve right there. Going to see him right now. So, no, it's neuropathy, it's neuropathy. No, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not. We're arguing with him. My daughter's like, no, he's had heart attacks. Finally, they go into my groin. Ooh, they're in there a long, long, long time. They found it. The incredible Dr. Goff, Thomas Train. Thank God for that guy. That dude is so brilliant. You know, Connors did it before. It never worked. You were right. That thing was all clogged up. It's a mess. It ripped right above there. I got in there, saw the tattoos, and I remembered Thomas's rip on his heart was the same place as yours. Like, you remember that all? Yeah. This is the genius that he is. So I harvested it out of your leg and bypassed it. He says, I had to build a whole New York where it was destroyed. I had to build it out of human cadaver tissue and, you know, cow tissue. I got a bigger valve in there. He looks right at me. I fixed it. I'm the plumber. Now you got to go to the electrician. I got a pacemaker now. Whew, I was bruised literally from head to toe, but I'm rehabbing from all that. Same room. Well, one floor different. So don't throw that. So I went holistic. After all that, I went holistic. I went completely holistic. I didn't have a hamburger for 7 years. I juiced every day. I used to eat this pico fresh salsa that Mike that owns Smith's would bring in for me. Give me a deal. I had no money. I was almost starving to death. I'd eat an avocado, I think. I'd eat bananas. I was so militant. You know, Mark, do my improv, flip my soup can. But the main thing, I fought back against the people that gave it to me. Oh, I fought back in an intense way. You know, this intense, the erotica, I turned my cells on. I turned them on to fight back. And so I used both. I used holistic medicine, everything I could come up with. I hiked every day. I walking meditation day, intense. Went to the ocean. I fight for her. She fights for me. And I fought for the mother, the mighty blue lady. She fought for me. I fought for the ecology. I fought for the animals in an intense, radical freaking way. Here I am. 12, 12. 12. I'm just going to tag this. 12. I listen to music every day. Remember this doctor coming and says, you're the happiest AML dying of AML. I'm not dying, I told him. AML leukemia. I can hear you singing down the hall. I had my radio and had my pictures. I was pouring in this line. I would sing. Don't come around here no more, Tom Petty. I had my subset of songs, but I just listen to the radio, you know, and just sing. Because I never heard. You see, with the door closed, we can hear you singing. Yeah. Don't come around here no more. Right there where they cut Alice in that video on Tom Petty. That's where my tumors were, and I didn't let them cut me. Thank God. Thomas, my uncle. Kevin, you got that bad odor valve. You're born with it. It's a birth defect. Don't let them open unless you're going to die. Yeah, well, I was going to die twice, and they opened. He said it took 2 hours for him to get through my breast bone from the first time. Oh, I'm scarred up like you wouldn't believe, scarred up. But I just keep fighting. It's been a long, ugly journey. Got kicked off Medicaid by Mike Lee. Thank you, Mike. You know, so I won't get into that. But who's the misinformation? Fukushima FUKUSHIMA MELTDOWNS, and I knew that then. Used to wear my FUKUSHIMA shirt inside there. And don't throw the baby out with the bathwater on fighting cancer. Be your own freaking advocate and use everything at your disposal. Good doctors, bad doctors, weed them out. You know, use modern medicine. Use holistic. Use it all. Use it all. You know, so fight on. Fight on. Only the good die young, by the way. And all you mourners, I'll see you at the night on Saturday. We'll quote the other 1%er. This crazy ass young kid that's down there. Well, he ain't young, he's well in his 40s. He was given just a short time to live when he was a teenager. He's had transplants. He's had bone transplants. Blanch, he's more intense than me. Can you believe that? Oh, he's radical. Blanch, come here, come here. Don't you get it? Oh, I get it. I got it. But are you getting it? Don't you get it? This is hell. They're not letting us out, guys like us. I says, yeah, only the good die young. You got it. Fight on. All you mourners, and I never forget these people that they didn't lose their fight. I never forget those people. I fight for them because I fight for their children. I fight for their loved ones. I fight for all of them. In the name of my father, who died of this brutal disease after being nuked into the Aztecs. Our wings we will pretend. Stay in tune. Who's the misinformation? Nuclear energy is clean. Fukushima was a hydrogen blast. Fukushima's cleaned up. Fukushima, we cut all the tank water. Who's the misinformation? They are. Stay in tune.